Right. I'd like to introduce Sue Giles from England, and Sue has primary progressive MS. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you.
Could you tell us when you were diagnosed
2004,
and at what age were you?
60. I just retired.
Goodness me.
Yes,
I
bad
speak
luck, really. Could be
Sorry?
worse. Bad luck, but could be worse.
Yeah. A nice retirement present for you. Well, what was your life like before you were diagnosed?
Well, very busy, really, because I used to do an enormous amount of exercise, and I was a lab technician at a school, so I was really on the go most of the time. So
Right.
it's rather curtailed my activities, I
Yes.
have to say.
And what impact did your diagnosis have on you and your family?
It made my husband worry about it, more than I do, I think,
Yes.
because I try and forget about it most of the time, except that after a little while, after I've walked a bit, I'm afraid my leg, all down my left side, goes slightly wobbly.
Right.
But other than that, I try not to make too much difference. But I can't. The only thing I can't do, I can't walk very far, and I get tired quite quickly.
Right. At the time of diagnosis, what were your symptoms back then? Can you remember?
My symptoms. Well, I just put everything down to getting older. Really, it was
Right.
just a sort of tired feeling, and if I did too much, my leg on my right hand side would go wobbly.
Yes.
Sort of like jelly,
Mhm.
really. And various friends thought I'd had a stroke, and it got really bad one day when we were going for a walk over the common, and I kept tripping up and falling down these ruts, and I had to lean on someone to come back,
Right.
and that's when I went to the doctor.
So, how you said tired, but I mean, did you have bad fatigue at that time, or was it just
Well,
feeling tired?
I just couldn't do as much as I thought I
Right.
ought to be able to do,
And how
basically.
and how was your bladder?
Oh, don't talk about it. That was quite a dreadful thing. That was a thing where I was a little bit frightened to go too far without access to a loo because I wanted to spend a penny an enormous amount of times,
Hmm. It
which I think is quite usual, isn't it?
it is. I mean, MS in the early days for me ruled my bladder ruled my life because I had to go to the toilet before I left home.
Yeah,
Make sure that I parked near a toilet. If I went
yeah.
too far, I had to have a toilet in sight.
Mm.
And the same
I'm
coming
still a
home.
bit like that. I'm still a
Are
bit
you?
like that. Yes, and I think, and I haven't got much time, sort of thinking about wanting to spend a penny and actually going, if you know what
Right.
I mean.
Yes. Yes.
It's a real dash
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's so long as you make it, that's the main thing. Before LDN,
Well,
quite often I didn't used to be able to make it.
oh gosh, did you not?
No, no.
Yes. So unfortunately, but the MS nurse that I see once a year, she tells me that I ought to drink a lot still because
Yes,
it would make the bladder full up,
that's
you
right.
know.
And apart
But
from anything
I'm a bit
else,
frightened to drink too much.
no, the more you drink, it flushes your kidneys out apparently, and then it
Well, yes,
stops the
it does.
urine from being so strong. And it's when it's
Mhm.
strong that it makes you want to go. So by drinking more, it dilutes it, and you don't need to go as often. That's what I was
Oh, is
told.
that right? Oh, I didn't
Yes,
realise that. Because I don't. It doesn't seem very strong to me.
yes.
So perhaps I am drinking okay. I don't know, but I don't drink as much water as I used to. I used to drink gallons of water per day before I had this, just because I thought I ought to. But
Drinking a lot of water is good. If you try an experiment, try and drink more water and see if you go to the toilet less. We'll be interested
well,
to hear how you
that
get
might,
on.
yes, okay,
Yes.
I will do that.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Carry on.
No, I was going to say the other thing I tend to do, I do tend to faint sometimes, but I'm not sure if that's low blood pressure or whether it's anything to do with the MS. I'm really not sure about that. I do pass out occasionally in the middle of the night, usually, when I have to get up and spend a penny.
Well, that's a bit scary, isn't
it? Well, it's a bit scary for my husband, really, because I
Yes.
don't know much about it.
So how did you learn about LDN, Sue?
Oh, it was your article. Your article in... A friend of mine gave it to me because I don't have the Daily Express. I think it was in the Daily Express.
Right, yes.
Couple of years ago or three.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was you and this thing. And she said to me, it was the friend that I was with the first time my leg really went bad, sort of really badly wobbly.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, gosh, she said, you wouldn't believe this woman has got what you've got. And it was you. And after that, I thought I tried to get it from my doctor and couldn't. So I then got onto the internet, had a look at the LDN website, which was up and running by then, of course.
Yes.
And I hadn't realised that it had been this stuff had been going for so long. But anyway, it certainly made a difference.
Good. Good.
Yeah, it's certainly
So
brilliant.
you got yours privately, did you? Your LDN?
I get mine from. I joined EMED for the prescriptions, and it goes straight to Dixon's in Glasgow, and then it comes by post to me.
It works quite well, doesn't it?
It works wonderfully, yes. Although
So
they have sent me a bit too much this time. They sent me a bottle that's a little bit too quick, but I'm hoping it'll sort itself out with next times. But no, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I do think it's an awful shame for people, and there are people, there's got to be people that, it doesn't matter to me, I've got a little pension, but it's a shame for people who haven't got the money to be able to get it. I think it's dreadful because I'm still walking, so I'm not bad when you think about the amount of people I meet that are in wheelchairs and things. It's a shame, really, that more people can't have it, and it's a bit naughty. I think that if you're a heroin addict or whatever, you can get this stuff, but you can't get it for this.
That's right.
But there we are. And
So
sorry.
How long have you been taking the LDN now?
I've been taking it since it's over 2 years. It's 2 years. I'm sure I think it is 2 years. It'll be 3 years this November, I'm sure.
Right. Okay.
Because I was going to Australia year before last, and I got onto it before I went to Australia, and it made such a difference. It made such a difference from the point of view of what I could do, because before I was taking the LDN, I used to get up, get myself bathed or showered, have my breakfast, and then I was totally worn out, and I had to have a sit down, and I felt absolutely whacked for hours. But did you feel like that?
I did, and my daughter got married in the September before I started the LDN.
Yeah.
And the morning of the wedding, I got up, my husband helped me get showered, I blow-dried my hair, I got dressed and said, I can't go. I've just got to go to bed. I am so tired. And he said, well, today of all days, you haven't got the option. You've got to go. But I felt so ill all day because I was just so tired. The amount of energy I had for that day, I'd used on getting ready.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yes, I know that's what's so awful about it to start with, isn't it? But this
and
makes all the difference.
yes, the thing was at that time I never knew how much energy I had in a day. Some days I had more than others, and obviously this
Yeah,
particular day I didn't have much, and I just used it all. And
yeah.
then you just flat. But the thing about being so fatigued, you could sometimes go to bed, sleep all night, wake up and feel just as fatigued in the morning. Where previously, if you were really worn out, you'd go to bed and you'd feel refreshed in the morning.
Of course you do.
But
Yes, yes.
that didn't used to happen. But
No. Oh gosh.
anyway,
Hmm.
did you
Okay.
did you have any side effects when you first started? Any initial side effects?
Did I? Sorry.
Did you have any initial side effects?
Oh, side effects when I first started taking the
Yes.
LDN. No, it was brilliant. I didn't have any sort of nasty side effects. The
Hmm.
only the difference it made is the fact that it made me more alert, which was great.
Yes.
I do occasionally, about every, I don't know, about every 5 or 6 weeks, I get a headache over one side, the side that's affected, over one side, sort of temple area, bottom, top of the eyes. I do get it's like a headache, but it's not what I call a real headache, and it's certainly not migraine because I've never been a migraine sufferer.
Hmm.
And that can sometimes, even if I take masses of paracetamol, Nurofen, and all the rest of it, that can go on. I've just got rid of one for about 4 days.
Oh goodness.
But other than that, when I haven't got that, that's fine. And that's only occasionally.
Right. So, will you continue taking LDN?
Oh, gosh, yes. I'd be frightened not to now, in case I went back to feeling like I did before.
Yes. I
Do you
feel
feel like
exactly the
that?
same. I do definitely.
Yeah,
I would do whatever it took to make sure that I could continue taking it. So,
yeah,
what would
yeah,
you
I
say
think I
to
would.
what would you say to other people with primary progressive MS that are considering
Oh, I
taking?
think I'd say go for it because it's it's got to be better. I don't know many people. I know one other person that's on it, who's also got MS, but she's much worse. She's in a wheelchair and she has a lot of nasty symptoms. And she's much younger than me. She's probably in her 50s, and that's what makes me feel so lucky, really, the fact that at least I didn't get this until I was old. And also, had I got it at sort of 25, it would have been a damn sight worse than it is now. So I would recommend LDN to anybody who had this. I think it's certainly changed things for me. It's made me feel much happier. Not that I've ever been a depressive type, but I just think it's great.
Good. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, Sue.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. I'll be in touch with the check for the